Look, I'll be honest, I make a lot of sandwiches on this channel. Is that a bad thing? I don't think so, no. But to me, these two sandwiches are very special, and they deliver an experience unlike any other. Okay, look, there's a lot of cliche foods out there that describe American cuisine. To be honest, there's not very many more things that are more American than a barbecue sandwich, let's be honest. The beauty of a barbecue sandwich is that perfect combination of meat and sauce. What kind of meat is it? How is it cooked? And how is it sauced? There's the North Carolina version, which is vinegar-based, or the Texas version with tomato-based and sweeter. The point is that they're all delicious, and we're making two different kinds, the classic American North Carolina version, and a little bit of a surprise one that's quite the opposite of being American. But it will still hold the spirit of a barbecue sandwich, which will be combining all those flavors as best we can. But do you know what else combines just as well as barbecue sauce and pulled pork? Combining your home and car insurance. And that's where today's sponsor, Geico, comes in. Both those two insurances are very important, and by combining them, you could save even more with Geico. So for bundling made easy, visit geico.com today. Now you get on over to the link in the description to see how much you could save.
Alrighty, we're going to explore two versions of a quote-unquote barbecue pork sandwich. First, we've got the traditional smoked North Carolina style pulled pork sando. But hold on a second. Then we have a Bulgogi pork belly sando. I have my suspicions about which one I'm gonna like more, but first let's begin with Mr. Carolina. Or Mrs. or whatever, doesn't matter. First, we gotta make our seasoning. In a small bowl, add 1 tablespoon or 7 grams of Spanish paprika, 1 tablespoon or 15 grams of light brown sugar, 1 tablespoon or 7 grams of garlic powder, 2 teaspoons or 6 grams of onion powder, 3 tablespoons or 45 grams of kosher salt, 1 tablespoon or 7 grams of ground black pepper. That's fresh ground. Then give that some whiskey business. Next, you'll need 1 large bone-in Boston butt roast. Pet that thang, because it's thangin'. Dry with paper towels, then season it all over with every last bit of your seasoning. You should use literally all of it. So dump it
and get to rubbing.
Once the whole porky man has had a nice massage, place it in a smoker that's been preheated to 250 Fahrenheit for 4 to 5 hours, or until the internal temperature reaches 160 Fahrenheit. Then we're gonna do some illegal smoking techniques here. Speed things up. Get a roasting tray, line it with foil, and add in your freshly smoked pork roast. Pour in 1.5 cups or 350 milliliters of apple cider and 1/2 cup or 120 milliliters of your favorite beer. Wrap that thing up with foil and place back in your smoker. Increase the temp to 300 Fahrenheit and cook for 3 to 4 more hours or until irresistibly tender. And the internal temp is about 205 Fahrenheit. Then just leave your pork to rest tightly in its packet for 45 minutes. Now while it's resting, let's make our barbecue sauce and slaw. I know that North Carolina is watching, okay? So just let me know how I do here. First, start with 1 can of tomatoes. That's it. That's a joke. I'm kidding. All right, everybody stay calm. All right, whoo. Josh is oh God. In a medium saucepan, add 2.5 tablespoons or 40 grams of dark brown sugar, 1 teaspoon or 3 grams of ground white pepper, 2 teaspoons or 5 grams of cayenne powder, 1 tablespoon or 12 grams of kosher salt, 2 tablespoons or 30 grams of ketchup, and finally 2 cups or 480 milliliters of apple cider vinegar. Give that some whiskey business and heat that on the stove over medium heat until everything is dissolved and looking lovely. Then just transfer that to a squirt bottle. As for the slaw, get a large bowl and add 1/2 head of thinly sliced green cabbage, 2 carrots, julienne, 1 red onion, peeled and very thinly sliced, and as usual, make sure the onion is thin. I don't understand why people think 1/2 of an inch is thin. You might as well put the whole onion in your mouth if you're gonna play like that. Everything sub-quarter inches here, please. Anyway, toss that together, then add 3 tablespoons or 40 grams of mayonnaise, which I know is a no-no, but I like it, so get over it. 2 teaspoons or 10 grams of Dijon mustard, season to taste with salt and pepper, lightly toss, and add 3 tablespoons or 30 grams of apple cider vinegar. Give that a nice vigorous toss to coat thoroughly, adjust salt and pepper levels if needed, and that right there is a slaw worth the horse ride and back. Not sure where I'm going with that little piece there. Now, once your pork is rested, it should be ultra tender. And when I say tender, I mean so tender that the bone darn near pops out at the mere sight of you. Heck, it flies out as soon as it sees Papa. Then using gloves, immediately shred your pork as finely as possible. Leave the fat in, do not throw it away. Shred all that fatty, flavorful goodness together. Then simply add your vinegar-style barbecue sauce to your taste. You like a lot, put a lot. You like a little, put a little. And that right there is a beautifully luxurious and moist pulled pork. To assemble this bad boy, all you gotta do is get some nice buns, roasty and toasty on their cut sides, add on a layer of pickles, which we've cut lengthwise for superior pickle eating capability, a nice mound of your slaw, and a generous tower of your pulled pork. Then all you gotta do is crown your king with your top bun and head on over to the flavor mezzanine. But before we do that, let's take a quick look at our secondary version, the Bulgogi style pork belly sandwich. Get 2 pounds or 450 grams of whole skinless pork belly, cut that into 1/2 inch thick strips, place all that into a bowl, then in a blender, add a 3 3-inch knob of peeled ginger, 2 to 3 peeled shallots, 1 Asian pear, peeled and cheeked, 7 cloves of garlic, half a cup or 125 grams of gochujang, 1 tablespoon or 7 grams of gochugaru, 2 teaspoons or 5 grams of toasted sesame oil, 1 tablespoon or 15 milliliters of sweet soy sauce, and 2 tablespoons or 30 milliliters of dark soy sauce, and finally 2 tablespoons or 30 milliliters of mirin. Then just blend that on high speed until completely smooth. Pour your gochujang sauce all over your sliced pork belly, toss to coat thoroughly, and allow to marinate for 30 minutes in the fridge, but ideally overnight. Now all you gotta do is either grill this bad boy until cooked through, which I actually recommend that because that would technically be the proper way to do it. But if you don't have a grill, you can toss it in the oven set to 450 Fahrenheit for 15 to 20 minutes or until cooked beautifully and lightly charred on the outside. Then let that cool slightly before assembly, and during that time you'll make your sandwich salad. In a medium-sized bowl, add half a daikon, peeled and julienned, 1 English cucumber, julienned as well, and 2 large carrots, peeled and julienned, 1 serrano chili, very thinly sliced. Then to that you're gonna add 1 teaspoon or 4 grams of granulated white sugar, 2 teaspoons or 8 grams of kosher salt, and 2 tablespoons or 30 milliliters of unseasoned rice vinegar. Give that a nice toss by hand until thoroughly coated, and that's your sando salad. Now, to assemble, get some toasted buns, hit the bottom bun with a light layer of kupi mayo, not poopy mayo, common confusion there. A nice thick layer of as little or as much bulgogi pork as you want, but of course a nice layer is always good. A generous mound of your beautiful sando salad, and finally some fresh cilantro leaves to your taste. And as usual, crown your king and observe a most beautiful and delectable sandwich. I mean, look, they both look absolutely beautiful, but my money is on the Bulgogi sando because if I'm being completely honest, that's just usually where my tongue wants to go. Look, let's just find out if there's a tastier one or not. Okay, so we have our North Carolina pulled pork vinegar style barbecue sauce. Oh, she is juicy in. Oh yeah, yes. Mama! We outdid ourselves here. This has all the elements that I want. The only thing I would complain about is there's a lot of acidity. There's acidity from the sauce, acidity from the pickles, acidity from the coleslaw. But is that bad? No. I think it could just use a little bit of mayonnaise. But other than that, it's got the juiciness, the smokiness, it's rich, it's fatty. This is what I want. Out of a pulled pork sando. And look, North Carolina has been doing it like this for a while, and they gosh darn know what they're doing. If you ain't never had one of these before, go on out there and you get going doing on that, all right? This looks special. Visually, if I had to choose between the two, I probably would pick this one only because it looks more visually colorful and interesting, but let's get a little sniff test. Oh yeah. See, I took my own advice here, the mayo. Very good addition. This is a personal preference thing, but I really prefer the balance of this one. There's sweetness, there's a little bit of more spiciness, and the acidity, the crunch, the variation of vegetables. You've got the carrot and the daikon provides some sort of a magical flavor. I don't know what it is. It just intrudes. It just kind of comes in there, but you don't know it's there. Kind of sneaking around, biting people's ankles, and they're like, oh, ow, what's that? I kind of like that. And all that encapsulated with some pure acidity and the freshness, the fragrance of the cilantro. This is my sandwich of choice in terms of barbecue, but I'll take any one of these sandwiches any time of the year. You wanna know what else is full of papa's moist meats? B-roll.
Okay, so we made our barbecue sandwich. A really quick and very important thank you to our sponsor for the day, Geico. They're helping me with my culinary journey around the United States, and they want to help you too. Just, by saving money on your home and car insurance. Come on. So head down to the link below and visit geico.com today. Now let's talk about these barbecue sandwiches. One of them smoked pulled pork with all sorts of southern spices and a North Carolina vinegar sauce. Is it super duper traditional? Not exactly, but it's close. And it's very, very, very simple and easy to execute. To me, the Korean style feels more meat. It's got pork belly, it's a little more interesting, the flavors are more complex. I just love a nice zing and umami and all those different things. Can't help myself, okay? I just can't. Even knowing that, there's something that always brings me back to the North Carolina pulled pork that just feels righteous. It feels like I'm outside, I'm popping open a cold one with the boys, we got 2 buns and a slaw and it's juicing all over us and we're eating, and that's a beautiful thing. But either way, the choice of the adventure is up to you. Now with all that said, if you enjoyed this video or you learned something, leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you